Check two. All right. Hey, welcome to our efizbo webinar, where I am going to, very quickly, in 30 minutes, explain efizbo's listing to close process. I know we have folks in the room, so I'm going to go relatively quick. My name is James Schlimmer. I am the founder, CEO of efizbo. I've worked in real estate closings, title insurance for over 10 years. I believe the process of buying and selling real estate is brutal on sellers and buyers, and I'm trying to make it easier. efizbo are for sale by owner sellers. So you can actually create listings that offer amazing technology so you can demand the highest and best offers from potential buyers. Also maximum exposure for your listing. And we are here to help you navigate the process. So you'll see how we actually come to your home and take the photos, the 360 tours. Buyers can make offers directly from your efizbo listing, the offer acceptance, you get under contract, integrates with the closing company. We truly digitize the listing to closing experience, and we're offering it to you here in Florida. So we want you to hopefully enjoy this webinar. It'll answer your questions. We do have a question and answer period as part of it, and we'll take it from there. So let me dive in here. 1.2, I know I'm a little over the place, but I'll make sure I point out during the listing wizard. I believe what's lacking in real estate listings today, give me as I take a drink here, is uniformity amongst those listings. Every efizbo listing comes with a trusted third-party property inspection for buyers to review before they make an offer. That's a little bit new. You know, I've done thousands of closings. Majority of the time, transactions fall apart during the inspection period. I think it's a better experience for sellers and buyers to be able to see that inspection before the buyer gets under contract. So listen, if there are problems with your home and you know about it as a seller and you think you're going to hide it and try to get one over on a buyer, efizbo is not the platform for you. We're about transparency. We want a great transaction for the buyers and sellers. I just want to bring that up. You'll see that as we get through here too. I'm going to share my screen, and you guys should be able to see the screen in just about a second. And you can see you're at efizbo. Now, efizbo, essentially, we have two products. We have a listing to close. So somebody that wants to list their home, attract buyers, do open houses. You need the photos and the walkthroughs and so forth. And then we have a contract to close. That is somebody that you know the buyer, you just want to get under contract and close. Today on this webinar, we're only talking about the listing to close. So if you come to efizbo.com, you can see right here on the top, Sell Your Home Easy. If you hover over there, this is all the tools that we have to help sellers figure out what's going on, right? Usually the first question a seller is going to have after, hey, how much does it cost to use efizbo? Which fees and costs come right over here. You can see exactly the fees that we have. The only amount of money efizbo is collecting at your listing is the cost of the property inspection. On a 2,000 square foot home or less, it's about $425. That is the only amount. Everything else is collected at closing, which is a $499 3D VR home scan fee, as well as 1% of the transaction. So you'll see that. Now, for your own specific case, usually you may want to come over here to calculate seller closing costs. I'm going to show you that in just a second. But typically, for sale by owners, the first question that you guys have is, what is my home worth? And I'm going to show you, come right over here to get my property valuation. You can fill out the form. And when you fill out that form and you have your address, you're going to be brought right to this screen. Okay. When you do that, you can see there's a real-time value estimate that's powered by Plunk, which is a great partner of ours. But what we're also doing is we're going to give you 10 comparable sales that recently closed in your neighborhood. By you seeing those comparable sales, you should be able to get an idea of, hey, well, maybe this is a baseline for what I think my home is worth. efizbo is also going to take the square footage of each of those homes that sold. We're going to get an average price per square foot. That's what you see right here in the middle. And we're going to be able to take that average price per square foot multiplied by your square footage, and that's this third value here, the efizbo home valuation. Now, let me just tell you, this is just a baseline. you know and have a feeling of what your home is worth and what you need to get out of your home and so forth. You can list it for whatever you like. That doesn't necessarily mean a buyer is going to offer that, but it's up to you. This is just a baseline. And again, we're here to help if you have questions. But once you get that valuation, that should really kind of get you going in the right spot. Now, usually the next step that buyers have is, wait a second, how do I know what my closing costs will be? So you can head over to calculate seller closing costs. You can see your listing to close or contract to close. If you want to do a listing, click right over here. You're going to enter your information in, which is just the property, how much you want to sell it for, choose your close date. Do you have a loan that you need to have paid off? What are your annual taxes for tax prorations? And you should get brought right to here. It'll give you the amount. And when you'll see in here, you'll see line by line. And typically what most sellers don't know is owner's title insurance, doc stamps on the deed, efizbo's $4.99 for the 3D VR home scan and the platform fee, e-signing, remote notarization. We're trying to give you everything here. This is a really good look of how much money as a seller you're going to walk away with. Should you choose efizbo, or you went the traditional route with an agent, you can see how much you'll save. You could download this and you can move on from there. Now, let me just tell you, there's a couple things that nobody would know yet until you get through the transaction. Maybe you're in an association. Maybe there's liens on the property that need to be paid off. And maybe you have other mortgages you didn't tell us about. All of that will factor in to what you're netting at closing. But hopefully this helps you, give you a good step in the right direction. Now, very quickly, I'm going to come over here. Sell your home easy again. You can hover, already have a buyer, create a free real estate sales contract. When you click here, this is a separate product from the listing to close, a different webinar. But again, efizbo can help you just create a free contract, take it to any closing attorney, title company you want, and go. If you're a buyer and you just want a free way to make an offer, efizbo, right here, we can help you with it. But we are going to focus on the listing to close journey, which would be list my home for sale, right on this page. And you can see all the items that are available for you to review and look at if you'd like. And you'll say, hey, I want to get started and list my property. When you do that, you're going to be brought to our listing wizard. And that listing wizard should be right about here. Give me a second. I will find it in just a second. Add property. Here we go. So this is our listing wizard. And I just want to make sure that we are seeing, you should be seeing this on the screen, which is good. I'm trying to be courteous of time as we go. But you've got our listing wizard. Take the time. Here's a little tip. Take the time to get certain information before you list. And the reason why, you're going to see where the questions come up. Do you have a current mortgage? Who's the lender? What's the phone number to call and obtain a payoff? Remember, there's an integrated closing agent part of efizbo. So there's questions that we're going to ask that allows us to be able to close the transaction. We're going to want the loan number. We're going to want the phone number to be able to obtain a mortgage payoff. If you're in an association, how much are the dues? Who's the property manager? Are your dues paid quarterly? Are they annually? Does the buyer have to pay any money to the association when they close? Those are little, takes 15 minutes just to get this stuff in order and then come do the listing, because you want to get under contract the right way. And I'll show you that. So when you come here through the listing, you're literally just going to be able to plug in your address, 5131 Wood Drive. You'll see right here. And let's take a look here. Here we go. Okay. So that will move over here, and you could pick, is it a house, condo, is it vacant land, so forth. This is a house. If you need help with your listing price, just click the link. It will take you back to the real-time value estimation, so you can get that baseline if you need. Number of bedrooms, baths. This data auto-populates, but maybe you've added on. You can change it, no big deal. When was the property built? Don't forget how much are your annual property taxes, because that's going to help factor in what your closing costs will be with tax prorations. Click on to the next one here. Again, first step, you can see the little progress bar. What days and times do you want your home to be made available for open houses? Remember, so you're creating a listing, buyers need to be able to see, well, when is the home available if they want to go see it? You can do this after the listing, but it's not very hard to come in here, choose a date, pop in 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., come over here to the 17th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and away you go. So buyers know when they can see it, and you click next. Now, does the property belong to an association? If it's no, just move on, no big deal. Little question mark if you have questions, great. Hop right in here. You can see we encourage you to spend 15 minutes it takes to get this information before you list. We talked about that. But if yes, what's the name of the association? Great. Are there mandatory dues? How much are they? What's the management company? Who's the phone number? Does the buyer need approval before closing? Does the buyer need to pay any money? Are there multiple associations, meaning maybe you have a condo association that's within a master association with a golf social membership? What's important here is we need that information so your sales contract ultimately is created with the correct disclosures. When you create those disclosures the correct way, which is the correct name of the association, the correct amount of money the buyer needs, that allows the transaction to move smoother. It also doesn't allow the buyer to be able to cancel because they weren't given the right information. Little tip. They may be able to cancel for other reasons, but again, we want to be able to get under contract the correct way. Perfect. So we'll move over here. I'm going to say no for the sake of the webinar, and we'll move to the next screen. Property information here. Is there a current mortgage or equity line on the property? If so, how much is it? Who's the lender? What's the loan number? What's the phone number? Remember, there's an integrated closing agent that needs to be able to obtain a payoff when the time comes to close. That's why we're asking this. Also, that will play into your closing statement at the end. So moving on over here. Are there any repair items you want the buyer to be made aware of? This is your chance to be able to say the roof has a hole in it. It's 25 years old. The buyers are going to be able to see this from the online listing. So you can say yes, type in what's there. If there's multiple items, just use a comma, no big deal. That will make its way to your listing. Are there personal property items you want included in the sale? Are you selling the property furnished? Are you selling it with all the TVs? Are there personal property items you want to exclude? Meaning the patio furniture, the pool furniture is not included in the sale. You can state that right here. Just type it in. In Florida, sometimes there's CDD assessments. Usually on your tax bill, you would know if your property is part of a community development district CDD. You could say yes, and you can include that amount. That lets the buyer know. Is there a tenant in your property? Yes or no? Let's move on to the next one. Is this your primary residence homestead property? These are kind of title related. Remember, we're closing the transaction. Has there been a name change? Has there been a death? Has there been a divorce? Do you have an existing survey? Have you made changes to the property since that survey was conducted? This allows us to make sure that we can get the right information so we can effectively close this deal. I will also tell you the survey, buyers love looking at surveys because everybody wants to know exactly the parcel of land that they're getting. Do you have your previous owner's policy? Water. How is water supplied to this home or condo? We need this information. It's very helpful. That's why we're asking it. Now, make your way to the next. This is just your seller's information. You could be an individual, LLC, corporation, trust. I'm going to click trust here just for a second because some folks are missing this. You click trust, the name. This is the name of the trust. So if it was James and Ashley Schlimmer Revocable Trust, that's the name, you put that here. The title, I'm James Schlimmer, the trustee, or I'm the successor trustee or co-trustee. That's what we want here. And then you have, the primary contact, which would be the name of the person. So little tip, same thing with LLCs, corporations, self-directed IRAs, partnerships, and so forth. So you give your address. Why are we asking for a post-closing address? Because that post-closing address is what gets put on the deed eventually when that comes. So we want that information. Now we move over here and we do next. You can add an additional seller. Are you, by the way, before we do that, sorry, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes or no? That plays into FERPTA. The Foreign Investment Real Property Tax Act. Does money have to be withheld at closing because you're not a US citizen? That information we need to know. And you can add additional sellers, which is no problem. That's pretty common. Move on to the next one. Okay. This is where sellers have to put in their credit card information to pick and schedule their property inspection. Remember, every efizbo listing has a trusted third-party property inspection for buyers to review on the listing before they make an offer. Right here, you schedule when you want your inspection. You can pick any of the dates and you can see the times available, and an inspector will come to work with your schedule. Click 9 a.m. if you want. I will urge you to know that an efizbo listing can't go live until the inspection is back, just so you know. You put your credit card information in, click next, move on to the next screen. When do you want your 3D VR home scan? That is efizbo, our team member, our own employee will come to your home or condo. We're taking the photos. We're creating the 360 walkthroughs. We're doing the 3D technology. We're doing the floor plan. We're getting all that information for you, leaving you a yard sign. You'll see that in just a second. So you schedule when you want that to happen. It could be the same time as the inspection or when you see fit. So you move to next. Now you review your listing. Check the boxes done. When they're ready, done, done, done. Make your way down and essentially come all the way down here. You can sign the listing agreement, terms and conditions, complete my listing. The only money again that is calculated or that's collected at listing is just the cost of the property inspection. Your 3D VR home scan for $4.99, your 1% platform fee, that's all paid at closing, just so you know. Now, when you complete your listing, you're going to be brought to this screen right here, which says, congratulations, your listing is complete. You can see here that your home inspection is scheduled for whichever date. You can see your 3D VR home scan is scheduled for another date. Title is being ordered. Your property is currently getting ready to be added to the MLS, which will hit Zillow and Realtor.com and so forth. You have nice videos here that will explain to you if you have questions. When will my listing go live? How does efizbo promote my listing? And so forth. You can view your closing costs or be brought to your seller dashboard. So that's what we have here. What happens now behind the scenes? Behind the scenes, we send our van to your house to do the 3D VR scan when you scheduled it. We have our wonderful team. We'll take the scans of the home. You can see that on the screen here. And you can see we will set up the yard sign. At any time, our team of customer support is here. That's Ariana. She's a real person. Ashley is another customer support rep. We are here to help you navigate the process. So what happens now? In 3 to 5 days, your listing will go live and should be right about here. Here's a live listing. Notice that there's an inspection that's right here. Buyers can click it, view the inspection, see everything before they make the offer, which is what we talked about. They can take a look at the photos. They can look at the property documents. They can come down here when we do the overview. They can see room descriptions, special items, association information, all the stuff you added through the listing shows up here so that buyers can see it. They can also see neighborhood statistics, how far to the beach or the airport or the park or any of those things. And then we've got our home walkthrough studio. If they want to schedule a tour because they want to see the property in person, they click schedule tour. This is where they can see the open house dates. This is where they can see if you're hosting virtual open houses on the platform as well. And you can schedule all that after you do the listing or during, if you'd like. We'll probably do a webinar on just how to host a virtual open house, by the way. But all that's there. 3D VR walkthrough. Here they have the chance to view the 360 technology, which essentially is here. And this is what you'd expect. 360 of a home, make their way through the house so they can see the kitchen and so forth. But what we're also doing is we have our virtual property specialist. This is why the 3D scanner, when he comes to your house, he's going to ask you, tell me what you love about your kitchen. Tell me 3 things you love about the kitchen or the master bath or the bedrooms and so forth, because we have our tour.
Welcome to your future home at 5131 Coralwood Drive. As you step in, to your left, you'll find a chef's haven, a kitchen that's ready to turn your culinary dreams into reality. To your right, a spacious laundry room. Come with me and step into the heart of 5131 Coralwood Drive, and you'll discover a kitchen designed for both culinary enthusiasts and social butterflies. Easily the best part of this property. Welcome to your personal paradise at 5131 Coralwood Drive. Step onto the lanai and immerse.
So we are actually recording those for every single listing. And we have it all set up in a way. That's why we collect the information when we come out to do the 3D property scan. Our scanner, who again leaves you a yard sign, will collect that information from you. And we're able to create a virtual property specialist that's in the 360 tours and the 3D tours, which is coming soon, that will highlight key features and benefits of your home to help sell it for you. It's pretty cool. So now what happens is you got buyers that come here. They are going to want to make an offer. Well, buyers will come in, they make an offer, they register, they pick their offer price, say 500,000. They pick the date that they want to be able to close. They come over here. Is it a cash deal or loan deal? What's their deposit amount? Instantly, those buyers are going to be able to see their closing costs and the cash they need to close. They can view a blank sales contract before they make the offer to you as the seller, add any additional terms and conditions, and then they make the offer. When they make that offer, you're notified with text messages and emails, of course, and you will be able to come into your seller dashboard, scroll down, see your offers right here on the screen, scroll over, view the offer, and now you can either accept, counter, or reject. As soon as you can see the buyer's proof of funds, as soon as you accept, when that happens, all those terms and conditions are made, added to the sales contract. And now you're able to come into your dashboard again, come over here to the sales contract section at the very bottom, come in here, click view sales contract, and now you're at your closing dashboard. You would kickstart the e-signing of the sales contract right here. That makes its way to the buyer, comes back to the seller. You guys e-sign. That contract comes back through efizbo. The integrated closing agent starts, and you can follow along your closing process. And one thing I want you guys to know is that every step of the journey, you're getting emails like these from our closing concierge telling you what's happening, what's being worked on, what you need to know next. You know, your title search is ready. It came back. This is what you need to do. Don't worry. We'll call you if there's a problem. And you can monitor everything right from your closing dashboard until closing. Sellers close 100% online with remote online notarization. Buyers can e-sign on cash deals, or we'll schedule a notary for them if they're getting a loan. And again, we have full customer support that's there every step of the journey. That is essentially the full process from start to finish. Now, I'm going to dive in here because I feel like we're at the 30-minute mark, and I know I'm seeing questions ping up here. So let me see where those are. And I'm going to stop here. Let me see what the questions are as I toggle the screen. Okay, Bob in Orlando. What makes efizbo different from traditional real estate agents or other online platforms? Well, that's a very loaded question. But for one, efizbo was built so you can navigate the process yourself, saving 5% compared to the standard 6% that agents charge. You're in the driver's seat, more money in your pocket. What most real estate agents will say is that for sale by owner properties will always get less because the regular seller doesn't know how to market the property. I believe it's true. You don't have the technology to do it. You don't understand the process. You need help. efizbo is a platform to help you at every step of the journey and give you amazing tech to market this property the right way. Get it added to the MLS, major online platforms, so there's eyes on it. Those eyes make their way back to the efizbo listing where they can take advantage of that whole immersive listing that you just saw, make an offer directly to you, get under contract and close is the goal. And we want you to demand the highest and best offers, which is why the professional photos, the 360, the virtual property specialist, highlighting key benefits of the home, all of that together is a digitized process from start to finish is what makes us different. Hope that helps. Nancy in Punta Gorda, not too far from me. How much does it cost to use efizbo? Again, you can go to efizbo.com, you can go to fees and costs, and you're going to see right there on the top, our listing to close experience. You're paying for the inspection at listing. You're paying for at closing, the $4.99 3D VR home scan fee, and 1% is what comes to efizbo. If you just want to get under contract and close, that's really a $4.99 fee split equally between the buyer and the seller, paid at closing. That's what comes to efizbo. Yes, there are standard closing costs that apply, like doc stamps on a deed or title insurance. You can very easily head over to efizbo, hover over sell your home easy, calculate seller closing costs, whatever you're selling the property for, you'll be able to see those fees. We want you to see those fees up front. Call us if you have questions. There's no hidden surprises in the efizbo journey. Transparency. And that will make everybody have peace of mind and a better transaction is my goal. Great question, Nancy. Rachel in Naples. I'm in Naples, just for the record. We're headquartered in Naples. I've lived in Naples for 30 years. How do I determine the right listing price for my home? It's a great question. It's up to you. Again, we have our real-time valuation estimate with 10 comparable sales. You can see that at efizbo.com. You can see that when you click Sell Your Home Easy, hover over there, and you can get your property valuation. It's also on the very first slide when you start the listing journey. So that's just to give you a baseline. And again, it's up to you what you think your property should sell for. I will tell you this, if your property doesn't sell, you're going to get emails from us, I think at the 5-week mark, 9-week mark, 13-week mark, that lets you know, like, hey, at 5 weeks, if you don't have any offers, 33% of sellers consider lowering their price or adding certain incentives to get the property sold. So again, we have all that built in to kind of give you assistance. Let's see here. What kind of support does efizbo offer throughout the selling process? That's Ben in Fort Myers. Thank you, Ben. I will tell you, we offer significant support. All you have to do is text us, call us. Our customer support team is trained and has done thousands of real estate closings. We will help you every step of the process. We will not give you legal advice. We can't give you tax advice, just so you know, but we will help you navigate the process. We will remind you to make sure that the buyer applies to the associations. We will make sure, Mr. Seller, that you know that, hey, we got to get certain information from the association to put on the listing, like condo docs and financials, so the buyers have that at the listing. We will help you navigate the process, which is what gives folks peace of mind. And we know it very, very, very well. Great question. So just pick up the phone and call. We're real people here. It's US based, 407-974-6504. We picked the centralized, Orlando number because we're all over the state of Florida. Pick us up. We're here. How does efizbo ensure my listing gets enough visibility? Excellent question. Number one, what we're going to do is we're adding your listing to our overall efizbo online paid search campaign. We're adding it to the MLS. It's going to hit major online listing platforms. There's going to be eyes on your listing for sure. We put a yard sign if it's a home, and folks are going to come from there. We urge you to schedule open houses. We urge you to do the virtual open houses, and we're going to do everything we can to get your property sold for you and help you the best that we can. Justin in Deltona, what legal or paperwork assistance does efizbo provide? We do not provide any legal, just be clear. We don't give you any tax advice or financial advice. However, there is a sales contract that's part of efizbo. Both sellers and buyers have the ability to look at that before they make their listing. You can head over to efizbo, click sales contract. You can see the frequently asked questions, and you can go from there. efizbo will help you create a free contract, and then that contract is part of what, the listing to close process after offer acceptance. So hope that answers your question, Justin. James in Tallahassee. James is a good name, by the way. My name. Can I negotiate offers directly with buyers using efizbo? Yes. Buyers will come to your online listing. They click make offer, and the whole offer acceptance is done internally. Once agreed upon, all those terms and conditions make their way to the efizbo contract, ready for e-sign. Great question. Betsy and Dan in Melbourne, what do we got here? What happens if my home doesn't sell quickly? Well, we will, number one, I think I touched on this before. We will, the system will send you reminders at certain points. Statistically, when sellers are more than likely willing to either lower their price or offer incentives like home warranties and so forth, we're going to let you know. But if your home is not selling and folks are seeing it, you're going to know why. It's either priced too high or there's a problem with the home. You would know that from the inspection or so forth, and you have to make a decision on what you want to do. Again, we will help you the best that we can, and you kind of go from there. Usually, why a home doesn't move is because it's priced too high in the market. So, Denise in Avon Park, how does efizbo handle home showings and open houses? That's a great question. Open houses, the seller is there. You choose when that home is available on your schedule that you're willing to have people come by. They can see the open house schedule and they can come look at it during that time period. You choose when you want to have virtual open houses. So it's all on your schedule, what works for you, so potential buyers can see it. True story, we had a listing that went live under contract in 2 hours. 2 hours. It was amazing. I mean, it depends. People, they saw the online immersive listing. It was enough. It was where the buyer wanted to be, under contract in 2 hours. So I think we're at the 30-minute mark. Hopefully that answered your questions. Please be on the lookout for another webinar we're going to do strictly for buyers who want to make offers and or sellers that already have a buyer and they just want to get under contract and close. And we'll do a webinar for that. If you have any questions, head over to efizbo.com or pick up the phone, call 407-974-6504. Our team is ready to help. Thank you for your time, and we'll go from there. Have a wonderful day.